Well, what's the crack, everybody? How are you getting on? Welcome to another Bookshot for Friday, the 29th of April. Or if you're a Patreon, you would have gotten this last night, along with the video. There you go. There's the Patreon spiel. Thank you all very much to the brand new Patreons, by the way, who got a Ramble Pod out during the week. So that's what you get. You get a Ramble Pod during the week, you get the videos, and ad-free early access. As well as that, I'm going to be doing a live show for the Patreons in the next couple of weeks. Shows. We got shows right now. We got Dublin coming up on the 5th of May in the Wild Duck Comedy Club. 6th, I'm going to be in Kavanagh's in Portlaoise, and the 20th, I'm going to be in Collins/Coughlin's in Cork. Yes, very excited about that one. As well as that 3rd and 4th of June, I'm going to be in Clogheen in the Market Stone in Tipperary with Clattered, my brand new show. And this weekend, it was to be a weekend off. Well, it's not a weekend off. I'm opening for the Two Johnnies at the 3 Arena. So there you go. Very, very excited about that one. That's actually going to be absolutely bananas. Now, moving on to today's guest. That's all the housework done. Out of the way now. Nice and tidy. Moving on to today's guest. We have been pals for years. The man is just, to say salt of the earth. You won't have heard of him, but you'll have heard of his brand, which is Hairy Baby T-Shirts. That's right. Daragh Murphy. What an absolute gent. He doesn't want to put his name out forward. I'm one of the few people that he would have ever done this podcast for. He just wants Hairy Baby out front, and the strides that they're making, inspirational stuff. I can't believe I said it like in a D4 accent. Inspirational stuff. That would annoy the shit out of him, but it absolutely is. The fact that the business nearly tanked twice. The amazing story how Ted's Teas ended up saving the business, and he's back on track, stronger than ever, and now he's producing stuff for other people. So hopefully I'll get in with him as well. Move all the merch over to the Hairy Baby workshop in Cork, which would be a lot handier, I suppose. What would you say? Planet friendly, less air miles, less what do they call it? I don't know. But even still, it'd be way cooler to get Daragh to make my stuff than waiting for some crowd in Germany or America to make it. And not having a 6-week wait, and people have messaged me going, sorry to bother you, Tom, but have you any idea when my t-shirt and cups are coming? Now I will know, because I'll have the man on speed dial. Anyway, sit back and enjoy the absolutely smashing chat I had with Daragh Murphy.
I don't normally do the podcasts.
I know. I do feel privileged because when you look for you, you're like, oh, this fella stays under the radar or something brilliant. This is great.
I do actually. I kind of pride myself in staying well under the radar. I think we're in an age now of you have to be sticking your face in TikTok and Snapchat and all this kind of thing. And I like to think I'm a bit beyond that. I leave that for the kids.
Yeah.
I kind of stay underground, you know. I know the brand is way out there and it's popular and whatnot, but I myself, I really stay behind closed doors, you know.
Well, it's like, oh, welcome to the podcast, by the way, Daragh Murphy. Okay, we've started. I like that.
Who the hell is this fella? Yeah,
that's a rolling start. I'll have done an intro and everything because, but yeah, this is absolutely powerful. I like the idea of that you put. I personally hate social, but I'm able to mentally detach the face and the silliness that I put up with the reality, you know, that kind of way. Like there's, if I didn't do what I did, I wouldn't be bothered me whole with it. Like, you know what I mean? Because you can get on just fine without it. Like, you know.
No, I feel the same. I leave it to others here who do it, you know.
Oh, you're not even on the.
No.
Brilliant.
I don't even have personal social accounts.
So
on any platform.
Yeah. Hairy Baby is out front, and that's the bottom line.
That's it, and that's not even managed by me, you know. So that's I stay well away from it.
I like it. Yeah, I like it. You were just saying the last time we met, I swung over to your place, and I mean, if weird could meet weird, like, you know what I mean. I loved your place, like, and I turned it up with that ridiculous car, and
yeah. God, I won't forget that. Yeah, that was some motor actually.
Yeah, all right. Yeah, it was back in another time when I was involved with a company. Had a small share in a company where we used to do experiences.
Right. I was going to say, how does a person end up with a yellow Lamborghini?
Yeah.
You don't hear yourself saying that every day.
How does a fella from Tip end up with
Yeah, not a yellow Massey. A yellow Lamborghini.
Although I had to hilariously one morning there was a fuse or something gone in it and it wouldn't start, and I was over. I stopped at a guy's house because near the parents' place. He's a farmer, and I knew it was going in for a service a couple of days later. And if I pulled in, and he was like, "This is lovely fucking girl," sure, he didn't know what he was looking at, like, and we're chatting away. It's in for a cup of tea, so we left it in the yard or whatever, and I went in for had a cup of tea, and we came out, and no way would it start. No fucking way would it start. And because the fuse had been dodgy up until then, he had to drag it back to the parents' place with a Ford fucking tractor. It was. I wish we actually got a picture of it. That this fucking Lambo getting pulled by a Ford 7610 or whatever, and your man delighted with himself, elbow out the window, like fucking pull it.
Oh, class.
It was a hairy baby moment.
Very much so, yeah. Jesus.
Because you went from, I love, people probably don't fully grasp the notion of the idea of hairy baby is so, it's for the want of a better phrase, it's almost anti-political in a way. It talks about it kind of shines a light on when times were simpler and a right bit of crack and sidesteps all the harsh shit we're dealing with nowadays. Like,
yeah, it is. It's there's a sense of devilment in there as well.
Yes.
And it's kind of, I suppose, to give the long and short of it, really, how it all kind of came about was, I was outside of hairy baby. Like, this is 15 years ago. I was a sound engineer and I worked in Dublin. That was my day job.
Right.
Loving sticks. Or should I say, loving the big smoke. I'm in the sticks. But the lads I used to work with, they used to call me Culchie all the time.
Of course, yeah.
But I hated that. It just really used to rub me up the wrong way. Like, because they used to kind of say it in a kind of an offensive manner, like, kind of taking the mick.
Yeah.
I know kind of nowadays, Culture is viewed upon slightly differently. I lay a small bit of claim to fame.
I was just gonna say, my wife bought, the first thing she ever bought me when we got together was a Culture T-shirt from Hairy Baby.
I put the word Culture on a T-shirt and it kind of softened it a little bit. It kind of took the sting out of it, because that's kind of how it all started. I got so sick of being called Culture by these lads that I just went off and got a T-shirt printed with the word Culture on it. So they couldn't call me Culture anymore because, I wasn't looking at it as being offensive.
You're like the Rosa Parks of country lads. Jesus Christ. You took back that word and made it ours.
I did. So what happened was, I used to DJ at night as well, a lot, and up in the clubs, and unbeknownst to me at the time, of course, we're like, Dublin was full of Cultures. So I used to wear my Culture T-shirt when I was DJing. So I found consistently, like, people would come up to you and, can you put on Dr. Dre or whatever the hell, and where'd you get the Culture T-shirt? So after a couple of months anyway, it was a case of, can you play some Dr. Dre, and where'd you get the Culture T-shirt? Well, what size and color are you? I have a box of them here.
Stop, what a cute whore.
So I was doing a bit of a Del Boy on it, and I had a box of T-shirts kind of under the decks, so to speak. So I was flogging T-shirts for cash.
I fucking love that. That is so brilliantly organic and cute whore. Like that.
So I would sell T-shirts every week. And what happened then was, it led on to, I started doing color versions of them. So I would do a yellow and green version for Kerry and a red and white version for Cork. And then you get people asking, have you got a Leitrim one,
Yeah, of course. Like, yeah.
You'll need to gather up a couple of more lads. That's not that popular. So I do a print run. But, so I had an abundance of Cork ones. But yeah, it led on from that. And after that, I started putting area codes on T-shirts. We were still very much in the dawn of the mobile phone at the time.
Yes,
so we were still very much landline driven. So I would put +353021 white writing on a red T-shirt for Cork, and +353066 yellow on green for Kerry, and that I started selling them as well, and that knocked on then to people from Leitrim asking, have you got whatever area
so
code?
how did you make the jump from selling it under the decks to actually?
Well, the girl I was going out with at the time, who I'm married to now, she's from Cork, and she changed jobs to a company she was working with who had a base down here, and she's from here. So I was kind of given an ultimatum at the time, was, you know, either move down or lose me forever, that kind of lark, you know.
Yeah.
And I was wrecked. I'll be honest with you, I was wrecked, because working as a sound engineer and DJing 3 or 4 nights a week on the trot, I was, after a few years of that, I was exhausted, burnt out. And I thought there's a bit of an opportunity here to kind of downsize and move down a little bit from Dublin. I'm from Kerry originally, so my folks are down there.
Yeah.
So I thought, look, Cork is kind of, it's a nice little balance between the two, isn't it? Like, it's kind of, Cork isn't exactly a massive city. It's a big town, you know, so, but it was a nice move away from the Dublin scene. So I moved down here, and I took a job with an audio-visual company down in Cork. That didn't work out. So after a month, I found myself unemployed, and I was DJing, and I thought, geez, there was a bit of a thing in those T-shirts.
Yeah.
I started kind of learning how to print T-shirts myself, and I had a shed, and it's real kind of, you know, the way you see those nowadays, you see those things on Twitter and things, how it all started and how it's going. You know, those like by
literally that you're talking your way through it here now at the minute, like without being a dose, because some of them lads are fair fucking doses. like.
But that's kind of how I see it, because I was just in a small little shed printing T-shirts and lugging them around to a few shops in Cork and seeing if they would take them off my hands, you know, on a sale or return basis. And I had a few more ideas, and like, because I was into the DJing and that at the time, I was doing these kind of DJ type T-shirts, which were shite, like, but I had these kind of Irish ones then, like, you know, so I had like Sick as a Small Hospital and Culture was one, and Who Said Mass, and Did You Turn Off the Immersion? I had a kind of couple of Hairy Baby classics at the time. Those were the ones that the shops kept looking for.
Right.
And they didn't want any of the fucking DJ ones. So they just said, I don't want any of that rubbish. So I kind of figured out pretty quickly that there was a gap in the market.
But see, this is what, like, I mean, you know, nowadays you'd see these guys and they're given mentorship on this kind of stuff, and you're literally organically going,
yeah,
you know. Yeah, I love hearing that. Like, is that?
No, there was no mentoring and all that stuff. Nothing like that. I went to the enterprise boards and the LEOs and places like that, and they shot me down as quick as you could think. Like, the banks shot me down. There's a stenciled quote on our office downstairs on the wall, which says, "You want to sell T-shirts on the internet? Are you sure about that? Would you not try and think of something else?"
Brilliant.
That's a direct quote from AIB.
Brilliant.
In 2006, when I was asking for 15 grand to start Hairy Baby. Yeah. They kind of laughed over the counter at me, these kind of silver-haired fellas, and who, you know, I suppose when you think about it as well, though, Tom, back in 2005, 2006, the idea of e-commerce websites was...
Yeah, I'm just putting myself... Around. I was in Cork around that time too, and I remember I'd go in on a Saturday morning, like, for, you know, you get a nice fresh T-shirt or a shirt or whatever. And it didn't dawn on me to look on my phone or break out said laptop. Like, you know, I suppose it didn't.
It didn't happen, no. And I suppose lucky for me at the time, the demand for those kind of T-shirts was growing. I had a bank of ideas. And lucky for me at the time, my brother is a web designer. And he was building websites at the time, kind of messing around with them. And he suggested he builds me a kind of a small enough e-commerce website.
Oh, brilliant.
To sell online. So I ran with the idea. It cost me $2,000 at the time. Huge money for me at the time.
Huge.
It was big money at the time. But it got me up online as a web shop. And it went from there. From a marketing point of view, I was kind of lucky as well, because I done up this kind of mad press release about how this Hairy Baby was found in the depths of Kerry.
That was going at some stage we were going to get there, but I'm so glad we did. Yeah.
And people had come from miles around to see this phenomenon that was, you know, down in Southwest Kerry, where I was at the time. But and the very last line on the press release was actually, no, it's a new website selling T-shirts. Have a look. And I sent it out to all the newspapers, and they all ran it.
Really?
Yeah, they all ran, all the major newspapers ran the story, couple of pictures of the T-shirts, and immediately the website kind of got a bit of a hit. And I suppose it was a good 5 or 6 years before anybody kind of got involved in the scene. And, you know, before I started seeing, you know, like-minded websites popping up selling branded T-shirts and stuff, you know. So I would have had a good 5 or 6 years head start before anybody got into it. And at the time as well, I was very brand focused. It was all about the brand, the identity of the brand, and the color scheme and the theme as well for what we were selling. It had to be fundamentally Irish.
Yes.
And as far removed from the top of the morning to Twee, Bigara stuff that you could get.
God
so
almighty,
it was Irish T-shirts for Irish people of a certain generation. And, you know, the Americans wouldn't have gotten it.
Not at all.
You just had to be Irish, you know. So it went from there, and it grew quite quickly, actually. At the time, around, you know, 2009 and 2010, it started to really take off, and started employing people and looking for a bigger premises, and it just kind of went from there.
But there must have been, like, you know, like, as a friend of mine, he's a butcher, and I remember giving him a contract for barbecuing at a comedy festival before. I was going barbecuing, and I gave him two days to get me a supply of stuff.
Yeah.
I says, look, I'm giving you the contract. We can give it to a big crowd up here in Galway. Or he went, fuck that. And he got the stuff together, and you knew he worked through the night, like, you know what I mean? Yeah. And that makes me think it like there must have been ferocious orders coming in going, lads, we're buckling down here. Or you were by yourself, even early doors, I'd say, just going, by myself for a long time.
Yeah. Before I started employing people, yeah. I moved my office out of the garage, you know, to a kind of slightly bigger unit in Kinsale, just outside Kinsale, and that's when I employed my first staff member, you know.
Yeah.
But we've since moved from there up to Cork City, so we're in Cork City now for the last 10 years.
And who was doing your artwork early doors then?
I was.
Were you?
Yeah, everything. Absolutely everything, from packaging to T-shirt design to the type of T-shirt I was using. I was really anal about all that kind of stuff, you know, so brand focused, and I needed the shirt. I'm still using the same T-shirt as I was 15 years ago.
They're a bloody good T-shirt. I tell you one thing, like, they can take some battering.
Yeah, like, and they do. And you know, that's to my detriment as well, because I've often had customers come in our door, you know, saying, Jesus, I need to get a T-shirt because this one here's finally given up the ghost. I got it 7 years ago, and I'm thinking, Christ, return customer after 7 years. I need to make the quality worse.
Yeah, I know.
Get them back quicker, but no, that's the way it is. Like they stand up.
I think when there's that, I'm a firm believer when there's that kind of level of I suppose quality put into a product, regardless of the actual build, you know.
Yeah,
it's that filters through everything. Do you know, like, and people will always come back regardless. Like, sure, I've 10 of them, you know.
Yeah.
The only things fading on them are, you know, maybe I ripped him on a fence or something, or I've swelled out too much, like the Colchi one. She won't go on. The Colchi one won't go on anymore, you know. But it was going good till I outgrew my T-shirt, you know, that kind of way.
That's been the focus always, you know, and it's grown from there. So, but it's changed dramatically, the business, you know, over the years.
Yeah, how have you kept ahead? Like, because you have kept ahead of everybody. I know you obviously have an amazing bank of knowledge and stuff when it comes to the fun nostalgia of the things that everybody loves from the 90s and whatnot, and even earlier, or even further closer to that.
That kind of stems from me. You see, a lot of that stuff is because I'm the age I am. I relate to the 80s and 90s, you know.
Yeah.
So because that's the year I would have grown up in. So a lot of the ideas on there are very nostalgia focused, but you know, where do you go from there has kind of always been my thoughts back through the years. It's going to come a time when I think, you know, the client base that I have who are buying all these shirts now years ago are from that era. What happens when they get a bit older? Well, you sell to their children.
Yeah.
So, you know, you have big baby range and you carry on the nostalgia on the baby range. But outside of that, then we're now, you know, we're involved in licensing now as well. So like we license a lot of different brands like Father Ted and we do a lot of white label service as well for other brands where we print for them.
Yes, yeah.
So we do that kind of thing as well. So that's where the longevity is in the business. There's two businesses running from Hairy Baby now. We've another business called T-Shirts, which is contract printing.
Right, I see it over your shoulder there. I was going to ask, what is T-Shirts?
Oh, Jesus, I forgot where I was.
No, you're really smart in branding. You're just a genius. You're like just over the right shoulder. Just have T-Shirts there in clear writing. Genius.
That's that's a branch off of Hairy Baby. So it's same quality, but it's just printing for other brands. So it's contract printing.
Wasn't it lucky that you found, like, obviously you're a creative, being an artist, you were a sound engineer, but also you're a DJ. Weren't you fair lucky to have found something that you loved and were brilliant at? Relatively early doors to a degree, like.
Well, I'd often think about that. Like, I loved my job.
Right.
I absolutely adored working as a sound engineer, recording music and all that went with that. I adored it. And that was a job for me. And that was my job for life. I fell into this. This grew so quickly at the time that I had to make a decision,
Yeah, okay.
It was the day job or start this Hairy Baby thing and take it seriously. And so it got to that point where the intention was always, you'd have this e-commerce store and you'd come home in the evening from the day job and you might have a few orders, you print them, pack them up and bring them to the post office the next day. But it was never, from the very day it launched, it warranted nearly full-time work on my part. So I had to give up the job.
But it tapped so perfectly. I know, like, my one sister in particular, she absolutely adores the idea of comedy nostalgia from the 90s and the early 2000s and stuff like that. And before I was even with my now wife at the time, like, all of us were wearing Hairy Baby. And she was like, well, there's a perfect gift because there's a smile and it's a talking point straight away. You know what I mean? Like, so
yeah, that's what we're so heavily focused in the gift market. Like, it's like the end, December, November for us is insane.
I can only imagine. Yeah.
Baby stuff for gifts, but we do socks and all kinds of things now. It's just really branched off that way. But it does make for a great gift, and I've always tried to keep the ethos of being non-offensive. You can be funny without having to be offensive.
Yes.
You'll know yourself on the comedy scene. I think there's nothing worse than seeing a stand-up comic who just relies purely on swear words.
Yeah.
The joke. If they told the same joke without a swear word, would it get a laugh?
Well, the swear words they're a luxury. If you overuse them, they become inert.
Exactly.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
There's a perfect time for a deliciously placed swear word that everybody in the room can agree. But if you're sticking it in all over the place, it's dead in the water.
I find that we don't need to use offensive or crude language or anything like that to get the same joke across.
Yes, of course.
And it's it's just trying to keep it fun. That's how I like to kind of keep it. It has to be fun. You have to know it's a Hairy Baby T-shirt when you see it on somebody coming down the road.
Yeah. Because even I thought about it because I was in with you, and your staff are the happiest people you'll ever meet. Like, I mean, not only have you set up like, what, you'd like a PlayStation or something as well. Had you a PlayStation? I imagine that, and a table tennis table.
We have a. I don't know if you'd be able to see it actually. You probably would if I move my camera. That's their kind of. I don't know. Can you see? That's their kind
yeah.
of
Okay, so there's everything.
Yeah, it's just over the top. They don't need that at all.
But
that's too much. So take all that away because it makes them lazy.
But at the same,
it's just it's not Google. Don't get me wrong. There's a day's work to be done as well. So, but it's they need to. it can't be all work, you know. You let them chill out a little bit as well.
But that was the vibe I got, like, is that there is that there, like, but everybody seemed to be on their job regardless, and it, you know, there didn't seem a white fear in their eyes as you walked around either, like, you know what I mean.
To be honest, I'm hardly ever in the workshop. They don't see me an awful lot at all. Well, maybe now actually we're quite low on staff, but that's just the times we're in. Nobody has staff.
Yeah, is that unbelievable?
Very hard, yeah, very, very hard. Yeah. So, but you know, we'll get over it like we do everything.
And do you have powwow roundtable meetings, or is it typically coming from, you know, to be a class one, lads? You know,
it used to be kind of structured, but we found that was too forced. Now it's
and it would come across in the gag too, wouldn't it? Like,
yeah, now it's just banter. You know, the lads will always say something like, and you know, I could go into the workshop and one of them might say, "Jesus, you know what'll be gas."
I've been collared more times because of a T-shirt you made for me. It was
I know the one.
Do you?
Coachella?
No, not well. Yes, that one actually. Immediately, I was asked where I could get it, but it was because we'll get onto the controversy of that one. Oh. But it was the Too Cool for School one in Irish.
Oh, Roku Altered and Skull. Yeah.
Yeah, I got collared by a couple of Gaelgoers from Donegal.
Yeah,
and they were lambasting me basically. I was like, okay, relax for one. You know what I mean?
Was it the spelling of Coalter or something like that? Or?
No, it was that they didn't agree with it, that it was actually a word. I said, well, excuse me, but the creators has a Gaelgo friend who he refers everything to, and I'm going with that, if that's okay.
And it is,
you know?
it is a word. Yeah.
Because I then again, I've asked friends since. He's a comic, Ger Staunton, his name. He's a Gaelgo from Mayo. And he was like, "Oh no, no, that's a word. That is absolutely the correct word." Yeah.
Maybe it isn't a word in Donegal.
I would imagine they were cranky anyway. Do you know what I mean? They were like, anoraks ruin everything, Daragh, and these were anoraks for Irish. You know, that kind of way. They were like, "No, it's our little gang," and do you know, protest. Like, it's almost like the lady does protest too much.
Yeah.
Do you know these people who go, "Oh, we want it all to be spoken by everybody," but secretly we love the fact that we're the only people speaking it. You know, these pricks. Like,
well, we get picked up on you know, the content that we put on the shirts it's not translatable to English in a way. Like, it is English, but they're Irishisms.
Yeah.
Half of them don't make an awful lot of sense anyway, but sometimes we get people love to correct nowadays. They really do. They love to be the ones who call you out and say that's wrong. And sure, what can you do?
Well, you're going to get your pedantic Patricks all the time.
Yeah. There's that.
I got a great one, and I love the artistic creation of Minosum. I love that one. Like, it's like, well, we just banged two words together here.
That's it. It's exactly what it was. Yeah, and it's good in a way as well because of what it symbolizes and stylized in the form of a Superman logo. It adds another dimension to it. It's quite a good shirt. Yeah, it is. And it's always popular.
I've definitely told this at some stage on the podcast before, but one time I had put up a post on whatever format of social media a few years back about Coachella, and I'd put two bus airing buses beside each other. And I'll never forget it. It was a Sunday. I was on a film set, and Daragh messaged me going, "By any chance are you wearing a white T-shirt right now?" I was like, "Well, that's the oddest question I've ever gotten from a man." I was like, "Why?" And it was a certain well-known public figure at the time had taken said joke and made it her own. And Daragh was having none of this. It was like, nah.
Yeah.
So, you had I had a guy take a photograph of me on set, and you superimposed. In half an hour, you had two buses drawn and superimposed on a T-shirt, and then like kind of Maria backdated it, going, "Throw south from." It was the coolest thing. It's like standing up for the little guy. It was like class. It's class.
Can't have that. Yeah. You know, and we get that a lot. I gave you that idea a lot.
Do you?
Yeah.
Like,
and they don't give us that idea because there are Irishisms, and a lot of them are older than you or I.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
They've been around for so long, but I don't know. A lot of people think that because they say such a phrase so many times, maybe in their head they thought that they originally came up with it.
Oh, I've had people tell me stories that
Yeah.
were my stories that I told them a year previous. But then some comedians are completely mental too. They'll come back with things. You're like, no, that's definitely happened to me.
We don't take design submissions for that very reason, because it always causes controversy. Yeah.
Of course,
If you pick an idea from somebody and you put it up as a shirt, somebody else will lay claim to it, and it causes awful friction. So we just don't, and we never have accepted ideas from people unless the ideas are insanely good. Like,
well, you're very welcome. I think that was just a moment of pure soundness. It was like, no, we need to knock this on the head. Now we can't be having this.
Yeah.
Like,
no, can't allow that. Yeah. So, but the half-hour thing you said about doing the spinning the idea up and sending it back to you quickly, that's something that's worked very, very well for us over the years. Is we pride ourselves in doing what we call reactive T-shirts. An event might happen,
right,
and we can spin a shirt up in 20 minutes and have it up online. The system that we use for printing, you see, it's very advanced. It's called a print on demand, direct to garment printing. So we don't have to commit something to print until it sells, which is a great system.
Right.
So we can load our website with a load of graphics, and if an idea doesn't sell, we just take it down. And if it sells, we just print it every time somebody buys one. So there's all our shirts on our shelves are all blank.
Right.
And they lend themselves to loads of different graphics. So in the event that something happens on social, and the beauty about the brand being where it is we actually get told quite a lot by our customers that we should be doing something.
Right.
For example, you remember the Oireachtas Golf Society?
Yes.
Well, we would get messages on social telling us this has happened, this event is happening.
Yeah.
And you guys should be on it. And we've even seen it, people tweeting, waiting for the Hairy Baby T-shirt in 3, 2, 1.
Yeah.
I've genuinely seen that.
I've seen that.
And then we'll spin up a shirt and pop it up, and you'll catch the press on it, and you'll get a spike in traffic, and you'll sell a load of shirts, and then you'll print them the next day.
But doesn't it lends itself very similar to how I suppose Waterford Whispers in the same way.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They were like, geez, we have to get on this thing immediately. Yeah. Or people are waiting for Whispers to do something on this too. Like,
yeah. And isn't it funny? That's why we partner with Whispers.
Yeah. I have 2 or 3 T-shirts of the Whispers. Like one of my favorite ones is the cow wants to be eaten, because my very good friend Jerry McBride wrote that article.
Right.
And you made it. So it's like, okay.
Oh, Jerry. Yeah. Jesus. Oh, yeah. That's hands down one of the best articles they have. Or Jesus not coming back by the looks of it admits Vatican. I love that. there's but their most popular shirt that we do outside of the Leo the Leak one that's going on at the moment is it's just very simple text based one, and it just says, Jesus, you can't say anything these days. And there is no truer slogan out there, because you just can't say anything these days. Now, we noticed that ourselves in content we would produce for shirts, whereas 5 or 6 years ago, everything was fair game.
Yeah.
Nowadays, we have to be uber careful with what we put up. We have to analyze everything we put up for fear that it'll offend.
What's your testing board then for, say, lads, this is funny, right? This is funny.
Yeah, it's funny to all of us, but once you put it up, then somebody will probably take offense to it.
Really? What's the obscurity? What's the most obscurest that you can think of that T-shirt or design that where you're going, this can't offend anybody, surely?
Well, you should say that. Yeah, like I can think of some of the ones that would have offended people, and we've probably taken them down since. But one that really escapes me is one of the very first Hairy Baby T-shirts, which was "Who Said Mass."
Yeah,
I've had people take offense to that shirt, and for the life of me, I can't understand why.
Wow,
cannot understand why. It's mocking the church, apparently. but they never took offense to the baby cheeses one, and you know, Christ on a bike, and oh no, they did. Yeah, that people took offense to that one actually.
They had hold. You were in the highest as well.
Hosanna in the highest. Yeah. Sick as a plane to Lourdes. We got a.
I can see why a few senior Karens would have a whinge with that
but,
one.
You know, like,
but it's still funny. It's still fun, and it's still something somebody says. Like,
well, you see, this is the argument against it is, okay, I understand that it can be offensive to some people, the likes of sick as a plane to Lourdes. You know, some of the comments we would have had on it would have been, you know, people go to Lourdes and, you know, they don't come back or whatever, or they're terminally ill. And I accept that. And that's all okay, fine. But it goes back to the mere fact that we didn't create that slogan. We didn't come up with that slogan.
Yeah.
That slogan's been around since I was a child.
Yep.
You know, same as sick as a small hospital. That was around since I was a child, but it can't be deemed as being offensive to all the people who are in hospital. You know, and it's, but you just don't know what's offensive and what isn't anymore. Like I think it was last month we had a man bought a T-shirt, rough as a bear's arse.
Yeah.
For a guy who's in hospital with colon cancer. That is no word of a lie.
Nah.
Absolutely no word of a lie. He came in and he specifically asked for that T-shirt.
That's serious banter between mates.
He reckoned his friend would get great fun out of it.
Beautiful.
So you just don't know anymore. And that now when we come up with something, we have to kind of analyze it for, is it potentially going to cause offense? And if we have a policy where we try our best not to offend, then maybe it can't make it up as a shirt. And it's tough sometimes, you know, because you could sit on a winner and go, oh my God, that's hilarious. But somebody's probably going to get offended by it. Like, I hate to say it, like, but, you know, are we in a generation of cancel culture and whatnot? And people love to put you down. And
yeah, and because you're an entity now, and it's not like you're speaking to, they'd never say, like, they'd never call over to your shop and say it to your face. Do you know what I mean? They would never, because you are an entity. Hairy baby is, you know, it's just a thing now. It's a thing, and people go, well, I can just shout at the thing.
I suppose so. Yeah. So look, that's just the point in time that we're at. It's more difficult these days to. You can't just throw up a T-shirt.
I think it's snapping back the other way. I've had I have a lot of examples come to me in the last couple of months of youngsters, 15, 16-year-olds,
right,
who are the other side of they're easily offended, and they're going, "What? I don't get any of this. Oh, what? Yeah. No." You know, so because I don't think people are genetically. I genuinely don't think people are genetically made up to be that soft, that easily offended. It's just a fashion right now. It's just a fashion to just go, you know what, I need a thing. You know, Tamagotchis were a fashion and everybody had one at one stage. Yeah. Now people have easily offended opinions. Yeah. But ironically, I'd absolutely 100%, because I do live comedy, I would say it is about 0.5% of any population that's actually offended. And everybody else is just worried about upsetting them because they just shout really loud. You know what I mean?
It dare to shout the loudest, you see. So that's but look, we get over it, and you know, we drive on. It's just plenty. Never seems to be a shortage of ideas. That's the thing about this business. I would have started it with 5 or 6 slogans, and never in my wildest dreams did I think I'd be close on 1,000 at this stage. You know, over the years.
Is it? Because I was going to ask that.
There's probably around 200 or so up on the website, but hundreds have come down over the years.
Yeah.
They've either been of a moment or you know, some of the stuff I would have done has come off the site because it's gone back too far, that it's beyond retro. It's gone into vintage. You know?
Yes,
and maybe that might come back in 3 or 4 years time, but that's the likes of, we used to license a lot of stuff from RTE years ago. So we would have had a lot of the logos for the older TV shows like Nighthawks and Murphy's Microquism and Blackboard Jungle,
Yeah.
Joe Maxey, the Den, things like that. We would have done the logos for, we would have recreated the logos and put them on T-shirts as a kind of a retro shirt. But that got to a stage about 5 or 6 years ago where it had surpassed retro and moved into vintage. So
Right.
it went beyond the generation. So in other words, what got it for me was our shop downstairs. We would have had 12 by 12 canvas frames of loads of prints on the wall. And we had a load of 5 or 6, 20 somethings were in with somebody's parents or something. They were looking around the shop and they didn't know who Crow and Judge were from Wanderly Wagon.
Yes. Yeah.
They didn't know who those characters were. To me, they were iconic.
Yeah.
But they had no idea who they were. They didn't know who Bosco was. And Bosco's still around, like, but which surprised me. But anyway, all it said to me was, I think it's time to bring that stuff down.
Yes.
Because it's not appealing to a certain generation anymore. So we just move on.
Yeah.
You know, so that all that stuff would have come down off the site over years and many more like it. We would have done licensed stuff like with the likes of do you remember Smeaky Animation? And that came to it, that stopped and it died off. And so we've done a lot of that over years. It's moved on. We've done it for a period. It's kind of, these kind of things tend to have a lifespan.
Yeah, of course. Yeah.
So these kind of viral hits, they have a lifespan and then they stop and you move on and you bring on something else. So we do a huge amount of that stuff over the years, you know.
You were always brilliant for elevating. I mean, it's a business after all, but it elevates like people from the comedy community. The likes of did you partner up with Aoife Dooley for a while?
Oh yes, Aoife.
Yes.
Yeah.
And if I remember correctly, I think it was me.
I think it was.
Yeah.
I think it was you introduced us actually. Yeah. Yeah, we did your one Nikita range for her way back. Wow, way back. Jesus, yeah. But I'm delighted to see Aoife's.
Oh, strength to strength.
Oh yeah, Jesus, her stuff is great, and she's got books out and doing her own merch now, which is fabulous. You know, so more power to her. Like, yeah. But yeah, we link up with people over the years, and we've got we've 2 more coming online in the next month, but I can't mention who they are until we sign it up. But there are two Irish illustrators of fairly good notoriety. Their artwork's fabulous. So,
but like what that really does too. First, say the likes of Aoife, it gives an awful platform of confidence too to go. Oh, hold on 1 second, a well-established, you know, well-branded company thinks I'm worthy. You know what I mean? Like thinks I'm worthy at least partnering up. Like, and it kicks on somebody. Then like that stuff definitely helps. You know, and
we're what'll probably go down well soon enough is we've invested heavily in machinery recently, so we're going to be introducing a new on-demand system, hopefully by the end of July, where we will be offering a service to have your own shop on Hairy Baby. So it'll appeal to a lot of independent artists. So we will fulfill their orders for them. In other words, they can house T-shirt designs on Hairy Baby.
I'm so glad you said that, because I'd love a lot of my I'm changing a lot of my logos and stuff like that, and I have mine stored, but like they're an American crowd.
Why?
Because there was nobody in Ireland to do it.
This is exactly why we're doing it. So we can provide this service now. I mean, we're as good, if not better, than any of those American sites that are providing that service. So we have the full fulfillment package here. So we would happily have Buckshot up on Hairy Baby, your merch products, and we would fulfill the orders for you, so you don't have to buy any inventory.
That's amazing, because that was the whole thing. It was like it's not Teespring. I can't even remember who the T Republic is who I'm with.
Yeah. And
while it was the freeness of it, because I'm like, I don't have the time to be packaging up T-shirts, but there was always a guilt in that. It was like, it's fucking not Irish either, you know, that kind of way. It was, but there was nobody doing it, so it was to that level of But then you're getting stuff like mugs going out to Irish lads who are in, Trinidad and Tobago, and you're like, well, that's cool. But if I could go, and guess who's doing the new logo for me? Only Ufa Dooley. So it's
brilliant.
This is serendipitous if ever it happens.
There we go. It has to be done. So yeah, we'll chat about that and we'll get that sorted for you. No problem at all. We'll hopefully roll that out now very, very soon, but we'll be opening it up to the illustration community in Ireland as well, for the likes of your Irish illustrators, try and get them on board.
I love it. I love that notion. And I think too, Irish people as a result kind of go, you know what, there's more to this. Because I've gotten messages of people going, do you know when that T-shirt is arriving, Tom? And I'm going, I fucking don't. I don't. I'm sorry.
Thing, and you don't, and they're paying huge shipping from America, and you have all that as well. So no, we'll kill it now, and once we get this up and running. Like, we're already doing it for brands as a white label service, so it's in the background.
Yeah.
It's not advertised, and they prefer it like that, and that's fine too. That'll be a service also where it goes out in a blank mailer and it's full of flyers from different.
Well, personally, I would prefer for people to know that there was an association with Hairy Baby, that kind of way.
No, and some do. So that's like, we've just live there now from last week ago. Our two of the Go Loud podcasts. Stall It and Talking Bollocks. Yes, brilliant. They're both on Hairy Baby now.
Brilliant.
As of last week, so their merch is up on our site now.
There's a very good friend of mine, those conspiracy guys, and they sell a lot of merch. But he's with an American company, and he's where's the Irish?
So much of this, they're selling to Irish audience, and they're shipping it from America, and Jesus, the football, or like the distance alone,
ridiculous
product, and all of our products are fully organic, and we're as sustainable as we can possibly be, so it's all a plus.
Well, I can testify to as I said at the top of the show, about the T-shirt quality. They will you will outgrow your T-shirt before your T-shirt outgrow. It's like those big lighters. They advertised, remember once, it was the most hilarious advert. It was like, you lose them before they run out. It was like
I haven't heard that before, but it's good. Yeah.
Yeah. I know you're at work. I won't take up any more of your time. So this is brilliant to find out what's coming up next for.
That's the next stage now. At the moment, is that we roll out this on-demand service. So yeah, full printing service for different brands, or anyone who's looking to get into that side of things, who doesn't want to carry their own stock. And we can integrate with your own website as well if you have your own store. It's kind of perfect you can have your own Instagram shop, and it just means that you don't have to bother fulfilling orders and printing stuff, or going to our printers and shipping it out yourself, and dealing with customer service, and all that headache is all removed, and you set your benchmark price on the website then, so you dictate your own margin, that kind of way.
Yeah.
It's all good. It's all positive. I've been looking at it for quite a while, but we didn't have the infrastructure in place to roll it out, but we do now. So yeah, we can rival any of the other brands that are doing it abroad.
I love it. I absolutely love it. That gives me those warm feeling inside. It's like, great. Finally somebody is doing it.
Well, we had to, because there is nobody doing it here, and there's plenty of talented people here who should have their own merch.
Yes, that's the thing. Like, there's a lot of talented, creative people. Like, they're really, really, I love it.
I'm very excited about these two that we've got coming on board now in the next 3 to 4 weeks. But I'd love to be able to say it, but I can't. But I love their stuff.
Well, I'll put
all of them is a collab with Hairy Baby, actually. So we're taking some of the Hairy Baby designs and we're bringing them to a whole new era. Yeah, it's
right. So this is almost like, when you see Wonder Woman when she went back to 1980. This is the same thing, like only a new era.
We're giving it a bit of a twist. It's very dynamic. The designs are incredible. They're full color print designs on your shirt, and they're massive. They're brilliant. So I can't wait to get them out. 3 to 4 weeks, we'll add them out. Yeah. So it's. And then
I'll put all your links down in the show notes too, so people, if they're not following Hairy Baby, to absolutely jump all over Hairy Baby.
How rude.
You know, with consensual jumping all over that said hairy baby that was found in Kerry that time.
Yeah. So yeah, look, that's the crack town. That's all that's been going on. It's quite a lot, I suppose, since I would have talked to you last. I guess it's 6 or 7 years ago. I suppose.
It must be. It must be. Yeah. So, and you know, when you like for one reason or another, you're like, well, when you're continuously seeing things from a company, you're like, it's in the back of your mind. I hadn't seen anything from Hairy Baby in a while, and I don't know why, because you're posting all the time, but it's my phone just being a bollocks, basically just going, no, Tom, I think you need to concentrate on moustache oil. And I'm like, no, I want to look at things that make me happy. So
yeah, and we do so much stuff as well that isn't actually a t-shirt. Like it's we just put some stuff out just for the crack.
Oh yeah, that's
crack, you know.
That's what I love about it. Like,
but we get lovely comments, you know, which is great, and it's really nice in this day and age as well to get some emails in from people who they just thank you for giving them a laugh.
But you know yourself, even if it's the mug or whatever, like, but the mother has the mam's mug above, like, and like every time you know the way parents love running a joke into the ground.
Yeah.
7 million times every time. Oh, no. You know, and they'll be like, okay, I wasn't going to actually, okay, fair enough. You know, but that's her mug. Yeah. And there's a bit of crack in that on a mug, like, you know what I mean?
Yeah. Jesus, yeah. I know. But sure, look, we'll keep doing it. We'll keep going. I didn't think it would be here 15 years later, but Jesus. It is. I was a young man when I started it.
Actually, you're still fresh. You've got your teeth and your hair. So what else do you want?
I still have fucking hair. Jeez, yeah. God. Yeah. I know. Yeah. It was only ever supposed to last a couple of years. Genuinely.
So no fear, you'll be back DJing with selling gear underneath the desk, or selling T-shirts. Sorry, I don't mean gear. Sorry. Yeah. In this day and age, you can't say gear because that was something that you wore playing football.
Yeah. No, we'll keep going. We'll keep motoring on. It's too much responsibility these days. You know, too much going on.
You've gotten yourself into that.
I couldn't give it up now. I can't get out of it now. Sure, nobody would employ me. I couldn't work for somebody else now at this stage.
You're ruined. I
had a few years back at the start where I thought, Jesus, if I got out now, I could still work for somebody.
Yeah.
No, forget it. No, that's it's too late now. So, but look, I wouldn't have it any other way now.
That's beautiful.
But look, you know, we've had the ups and downs. I mean, Jesus, I nearly closed the business twice.
Did you though?
Oh yeah, I'm very vocal about that. I've talked at things over the years. I don't do that anymore either. But there were times way back around 09, 10, 11.
Yeah, when nobody had anything.
It was shocking. We made horrendous losses 2 years in a row. My bank manager said, you can't sustain another year of this. You should probably pack it in now. Not my bank manager, my accountant. And, you know, you don't take those words lightly. You sit up and listen. So I had a year to salvage the bloody place. I did, thankfully.
And did you what? In fairness.
That was Father Ted that did that for me, actually.
Was it though?
Yeah, it was. I got the license for Father Ted in 2011, and
how do you go about getting the license for Father Ted? Like, are you talking to Channel 4? Are you talking to Graham Lennon? Who are you talking to?
Channel 4. It was Hat-Trick Productions in the
Hat-Trick,
UK, and the writers of the show. But at the time, I was doing Father Ted T-shirts.
Yes,
but just slogans, no association. You know. I just had down with this sort of thing and careful now on T-shirts, you know, and
yeah.
You know, they used to sell quite well. And at the time we were hemorrhaging money. I was contemplating closing the place, and I didn't know what else I was going to do at this stage. And I kind of thought, should I try and make Father Ted official? There were no Father Ted T-shirts out there.
Incredible when you think about it, like,
yeah.
Incredible.
Absolutely, but now there's thousands of them, and I have awful problems with copyright infringement. It's a headache and legal fees and blah blah blah. But that's for another day. But because we have to chase people all the time, it's a nuisance. But anyway, at the time, I had about $3,000 in the bank.
Right.
That's all we had.
Right.
That's
The
all
company had $3,000.
Yeah, that's all I had, and that was enough to pay the wages for about a month and a bit. And I thought, what will I take this money now and try and go after Father Ted? So I paid the lads for my Visa card and my own visa, and I took the $2,500 and I built a one-page website, registered the name Ted's Tees, and
Yes.
got some packaging made from the supplier I used, branded, identity, the whole lot. Got some shirts manufactured from the supplier I used, and got a collar inserted on the back of the neck, all black shirts.
Yes. Yeah.
Collar, and developed a team and arranged a meeting with Hattrick Productions in the UK, and went over and pitched the idea to them of selling a e-commerce website with specifically Father Ted themed ideas.
Yeah.
And the weird thing about it was, at the time there was nobody doing Father Ted T-shirts, but coincidentally on the same day I was in Hattrick Productions, there were two other companies, in UK companies, pitching the idea of licensing Father Ted T-shirts.
What?
Yeah, I couldn't believe it. Like,
what?
So, yeah, so the Irishness of me and the ideas, won it over for the writers, because where the other two crowds had taken the small far away and down with this sort of thing, careful now, the really typical Father Ted isms, I had gone after the really odd ones from the episodes.
What did you go after? Because you were tapping into it there. Like, if you've ever gone to, I'm sure you have been to, like, Father Ted, these competitions and Ted nights and stuff, you'll see people it's Star Wars-esque how deep they will go looking for a character to play. I had just a picture of a step ladder on a shirt, and down the side of it, I had, keep your hands on the sides, which is a scene from Funland, which I find absolutely hilarious. And I have to say it in that tone, keep your hands on the sides. Yeah.
And I had the Funland scene as well. I had all the different rides from Funland on a T-shirt, I had Tom's car. I had
the spinning cat.
I had the spinning cat. I had all the really obscure ones, and they just thought that this guy gets the show.
Perfect.
And because it was Irish as well, and they said that we should be licensing from them. So they granted me a license for Father Ted, apparel, T-shirts, an exclusive license for Ireland and the UK. And I went off. No fucking money. Hadn't a fucking penny to my name, because I'd spent it all on packaging and
of course,
website and registering a domain and all this carry on. So then I had to, I didn't know what I was going to do. So, but anyway, I landed home and I had to come up with about 10 grand to get a load of shirts printed and get the site populated and get it up and out there. And within 6 months, we'd gone back into not so much profitability, but we were just kind of threading away nicely there, and I could see it starting to come back bit by bit, and after that, then after about a year, it had started to go really well. The TED stuff went really well, and then I pitched to RTE and got all the RTE stuff on the back of having Father Ted as a license.
Yeah.
Snowballed from there, then we were being approached by people saying, I see you do Father Ted, and it just kind of grew from there. So I kind of have Father Ted to thank for a lot of our success back at the start, back when we were in the shit.
Well, yeah, I mean, you have to if imagine putting yourself in the boot. Like, how long gone was Father Ted the show at that stage, when Hattrick must have moved on with a bunch of things, but still going, we can still make money from a show we made years ago. Like,
well, it had it finished in 97,
right? Yeah.
So Jesus, 20 years 22, 23 years afterwards, I decided to put some of them on T-shirts, you know. So the show had pretty much been forgotten about. From Hat-Trick's point of view, I didn't think for a second they would thought of licensing it.
Right.
So, yeah, but now they have huge headaches because it's just copied everywhere.
Of course it is. Yeah, of course it is.
You'll find it copied everywhere. But, you know, the beauty about our stuff is it's original, that there are designs and it has the Father Ted identity associated with it. So it's good that way. But we've had that license now for almost 10 years.
Wow.
Yeah. And it sells every day. People buy Father Ted T-shirts every day.
Of course they do,
not
yeah.
Tire of it. They just don't tire of it. And it is an absolute classic.
Well, it's still like I talked with Pat Short on the show, like, and he says the amount of stuff he's done since Unbelievables, but still to this day,
yeah,
every day of the week, he'll get somebody saying something Unbelievables, you know, from the 90s to add.
Man, Darcy.
Yeah. Do you know, this carry on, like, you know. And it's like,
there are certain shows that are so iconic like that you can use, but there are ones then that, you know, they come and go. The likes of your Dairy Girls, fantastic show, but you won't sell merch from it in 5 years' time.
No.
It has what it needs to be a great comedy show, but it's missing that something that's transmittable to merch.
Yeah, there is a sauce.
For a long period of time. It's funny that the Father Ted stuff, maybe it's just because the phrases are so uniquely Irish and the humor is so uniquely Irish, you can continue to sell it for a long time. And it passes on through generations. My daughter is 13. She watches Father Ted.
Yeah, there you go. There you go.
At the humor, you know.
I suppose Dairy Girls had one or two, but I mean, they'll milk it like the likes of the Protestant Toaster one. Yeah,
that kind of stuff. But I just don't know if it'll be merchandisable in 5 years' time. I think it'll be forgotten about. It'll have moved on, and I suppose what helps with Father Ted is that it's still rerun.
It's still rerun, and it's frozen.
Every day of the week, you'll find it on some channel like More 4 or wherever. And
do you know a big thing too? And I was trying to get to the bottom of it. What makes it everlasting? And do you know what I mean? Dermot Morgan, Lord of Mercy, passing away. It's a frozen in time thing. He didn't show up and all of a sudden was the Doctor in. Yes, I know Ardle went off and did some stuff. Now he went and did stand, but really it was all about Ted. Do you know what I mean? And it froze in time with him.
Yeah, I kind of somewhat feel a little bit sorry for Ardle in a way that I think he's kind of been typecast, hasn't he? He's got that Ted.
He'll be fine. When you clear your mortgage off the back of something as a result of it.
There's that. You know, there's that then to look at. I mean, that, I would certainly be fine with that. You know, I know we didn't do Mrs. Doyle stuff back at the start because she didn't want it.
Really? Right. Yeah, fair.
Wanted to disassociate from the show, I believe. So
right. Yeah. I mean, I
for fear of being typecast. You know?
I guess so. But it's
again, she probably would be typecast because Mrs. Doyle's such a memorable character, you know.
Yeah, I mean, heavily made up too. Like in saying that, I don't know. She'd be one of the few characters, I suppose, that could step outside of herself and not look one bit like what Mrs. Doyle did around the time when she finished it. Yeah, I suppose it's horses for courses, but you know, it's the most humble.
Would you not see her as Mrs. Doyle if you saw her in anything else?
No, I don't.
Maybe it's because I watched so much Father Ted over.
Maybe.
I can't get the picture out of me. Anytime I'd see her on something, I'm almost instantly Mrs. Doyle just comes into my head.
But you know, I mean, I suppose there is a little bit, but at the same time, like when I watch a Matt Damon movie, the first thought I went, well, that's Jason Bourne. Yeah. But at no point,
when something's iconic like that, I guess, yeah.
It doesn't ruin it for me either. Like
it doesn't ruin it, is right. Yeah, it doesn't. I mean, I can watch Ardle doing stand up any day of the week. You know, or
what was he? He was in Trouble in Paradise. He was in Trouble in. Was he Trouble in Paradise as well?
That's the one show that I just don't know if I could watch.
No, it's diabolical. But again, massive payday. He's happy out. He's happy out. I guarantee you, he's happy out. stand-up comedians tend to be absolute hewers anyway. So they're like, yeah, whatever, grant, because I can go to a comedy club and completely profess in real life what I'm actually like.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's all that really matters. Yes, you can call me or you know, Dougal for the rest of my life on the newspaper or online, but you can go and exercise those demons in front of actual people on a Saturday night. Like,
agreed. Yeah, very good.
Daragh, this has been an absolute joy.
No problem. You'll have some crack now trying to edit down an hour of this.
Not at all. People want to know. And this is exclusive because nobody gets behind to meet the Great Oz. Nobody gets to talk to the Great Oz.
I don't know. I just kind of like to stay in the background as much as I can. I don't know if maybe I'm weird like that, but
no, you listen. It absolutely makes sense that you would, because Hairy Baby talks for itself. Like, you know, you don't need to be up beside it. It just shows Irish humility, a proper Irish humility.
Well, there's an awful lot of kind of these kind of micro brands that are popping up everywhere, and they just love being in front of the camera and confessing how brilliant they are, and you know, I guess in a way my humility kind of came from the fact that I nearly closed twice.
Yeah.
That to me said, stop boasting.
Yes, yeah. Because the arse could fall out of this in 2 seconds.
Right. At any time, you know, so when that happened to me, it was kind of a wake-up call of kind of, you know, shut the fuck up now and put the head down and run your business, and don't be talking any of this nonsense now publicly on Twitter and Instagram and whatnot. And, you know.
Oh, you'd still get fellas going, I nearly closed twice, guys, and I still made it back. You know, and you're like,
come on.
Yeah, there'd be still fellas doing it going, pat me on the back.
Right
now.
God, no. Yeah.
So
I know I can't win. So
no, the thing is that I love the fact that the brand is out first front, and you go, no, it's all about the brand and the quality of what I'm doing. And if you want to find out who's behind it. Like, but
I don't see myself as being interesting at all. Just the brand. Keep an eye on the brand. That's you know,
perfect. I'm very excited to see who these 2 new brands are that's coming on board with you. But we'll have to watch this space.
Well, I guess they're not famous Irish illustrators. They're just bloody good.
Yeah, that's what I mean. Like,
you know, one fella's illustration style is lovely and fun and colorful and bright, and they look great on shirts. And the other one then is the one that we're collabing with for our own designs to twist them into poster style, let's say.
Brilliant.
Kind of pop art retro style movie poster team-esque. That's an awful lot to take in, but
and I'm happy to I'm happy to sit back and wait for that. Daragh Murphy, this has been beautiful. Thank you very, very much.
Not a bother. Good to see you again, Tom, and keep up the good work. We'll talk to you again soon, I'm sure. Let's not wait for 6 or 7 years.
Yeah. Thanks a million. And my thanks again to Daragh. What an absolute sound bloke. Do follow everything to do with Hairy Baby. They're absolutely brilliant. If you haven't gotten their stuff, I guarantee you most people probably have something belonging to Hairy Baby in their house. Anyway, like I said, shows coming up. I'm opening for the 2 Johnnies this weekend, so if you are going to the sold out show, you'll see me there. I'll probably only see the first 10 rows. I do have the Wild Duck with Clattered next Thursday the 5th. Friday the 6th, I'll be in Portlaoise and Kavanagh's, and I'll be in Cork on the 20th. Tipperary on the 3rd and 4th of June. For all those, go have a look in the show notes. Everything's down there. And would you know what? If you're listening on Spotify, would you do me a favour? Hit the bell so you get a notification. As well as that, would you do me a favour if you haven't already? Give it the 5 stars. We've gotten ourselves almost back up. A couple of doses have marked it down, but we're back up at 4.9. We were at 5 and then it went to 4.8 or 4.7. But we're back up to 4.9. I'd like to get it back up to 5 if we could. Other than that, you know what to do if you want to become a Patreon. Go through the show notes. Till I chat to you again next week. Have a cracking long weekend. Good looking, thanks, God bless.